What is going on, guys? Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz struggled mightily in the 2020 season. I always say mightily. Why do I always say mightily? I didn't even know that was a word for a while. God. Anyway, it prompted head coach Doug Peterson to hand the starting reins over to rookie Jalen Hurts. Hurts largely outplayed Wentz in his short audition, and it's safe to say the Eagles would love to get Wentz and his $128 million contract off their hands. If the Eagles decide to shop Wentz, there will be no shortage of enticing and logical suitors. Here are 10 teams who should trade for the Philadelphia quarterback. Number 10, New Orleans Saints. For starters, this entry only applies if Drew Brees retires after the 2020 season. It's widely expected that he will, but should Brees decide to return in 2021? And you can ignore everything I'm about to say here. Sean Payton obviously loves Taysom Hill, but most of us have our doubts that he's a true long-term starting quarterback. New Orleans is better off using him as a gadget guy more than anything else. Payton has also expressed an interest in giving Jameis Winston a chance to win the job in 2021. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. But if Brees retires, and if the Saints don't believe either Hill or Winston are the long-term answers, why not make a play for Wentz? Just imagine what a coach like Payton could do with Wentz. The latter would be supplied with one of the NFL's elite offensive lines, arguably the league's best wide receiver in Michael Thomas, and do-it-all running back Alvin Kamara. Throw in Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith, and you've got all the weapons in place for Wentz to return to his MVP form. Just one problem. New Orleans is right up against the cap. It will take some wizardry from GM Mickey Loomis to make it work. But if Wentz is willing to restructure his deal for the chance to join a long-term title contender, why not do it? Number 9, Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr enjoyed a strong statistical campaign in 2020. But at the end of the day, wins matter more than fancy passing numbers. As good as Carr is, he simply hasn't been able to mask all the other problems on this flawed Raiders team. When the Raiders added Marcus Mariota in free agency, John Gruden was clearly sending a message to Carr. And with the Raiders missing the playoffs for the 4th straight year, you have to think Gruden and GM Mike Mayock are pondering changes. You'd have to think a healthy Wentz would be an improvement over Carr. Gruden helped the latter return to his Pro Bowl form in 2019 and 2020. We think he can do even more with Wentz, considering how stacked the Raiders are at the skill positions. If Gruden thinks he can do better with Wentz, why not trade or release Carr and take a shot on the number 2 pick from the 2016 draft? At some point, you got to make a change at quarterback when you keep missing out in the postseason. And you can argue that Carr could use a fresh start as well. Number 8, Pittsburgh Steelers. Like the Saints, this only makes sense if Ben Roethlisberger decides to retire in the next year or so, because the Steelers currently have no succession plan to number 7 in place. Wentz wouldn't even have to play at a Pro Bowl level on this Pittsburgh team. He'd be mostly carried by arguably the NFL's best defense. And Wentz would certainly make it work with a stacked receiving core that consists of Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, and Deontay Johnson. The Steelers have a stacked roster, but they'll need to find their next starting quarterback if they want to keep contending for Super Bowls over the next few years. Wentz could be that guy. He'd be the perfect successor to Roethlisberger. Number 7, Carolina Panthers. The Panthers have gotten mixed results from Teddy Bridgewater, whom they signed a 3-year deal worth $63 million in free agency. His stats have been good, but the consistency isn't there. Bridgewater is essentially a game manager under crafty offensive-minded head coach Matt Rule. It wouldn't shock us if Rule looked for an upgrade this offseason, be it at the draft or through free agency or a trade. Wentz would probably be a better fit for Rule's pass-heavy offense anyway. Give him Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Robbie Anderson, and Wentz could easily return to superstardom. A Bridgewater for Wentz swap makes sense here if the Eagles aren't fully sold on Jalen Hurts as their long-term starter. And if the Eagles don't want Bridgewater in return, Carolina should have no problem finishing a trade partner for him, which they would need to if they're taking on Wentz's monster contract as well. Number 6, Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford has done everything in his power to rescue the Lions franchise, but it isn't going to happen at this point. The team has failed to build a contender around him, and it makes zero sense for this marriage to continue. Stafford is better off playing for a Super Bowl contender in the final years of his prime. The Lions are better off rebuilding with a new quarterback to go along with their next GM and head coach. Stafford is injury prone, and 2021 will mark his age 33 season. What's the logic behind keeping him at this point when the Lions aren't going anywhere? Wentz is only 4 years younger than Stafford, but the latter also has 7 more seasons of mileage on his body. So in a way, Wentz is considerably younger than Stafford, and he's young enough when Detroit can rebuild around him. There are some good pieces in that Detroit offense for Wentz to work with, even if Kenny Golladay doesn't re-sign. If the Lions hire an offensive-minded head coach, they shouldn't be afraid to take a chance on Wentz. If they bring back Stafford, it's just going to be the same old song and dance. So if the Lions decide to move on from number 9, and if they're not fully sold on some quarterback options at the 2021 draft, they should have their eyes focused entirely on the Eagles' former starter. Number 5, Chicago Bears. The Bears have spent 30-something years looking for a long-term answer at quarterback. The latest experiments, Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles, have not panned out. It's time for the Bears to go big game hunting. Again, seeing that the Bears declined Trubisky's 5th-year option, it's safe to say that he's a goner. Foles' pricey contract means he may stay on in 2021, but as a backup. The Bears will have lots of options to choose from in 2021. Cam Newton and Andy Dalton should be available. And of course, there's the draft. But why not trade for somebody like Wentz? A proven top-notch starter when he's healthy and when he's given the proper amount of playmaking weapons. The 2020 version of Wentz isn't much worse than most quarterbacks the Bears have used over the past decade. But Chicago is also a nice fit for Wentz because he could essentially work as a game manager in a run-heavy offense. On a team with a championship-caliber defense, the Bears could get Wentz at a very reasonable deal if the Eagles decide to shop him. Chicago just has to look at the 2017 and 2019 version of Wentz. The guy would bring this team right back into playoff contention. So what's stopping them? And wouldn't this be something if the Bears traded for Wentz and kept Foles on? They'd have the Eagles' 2017 Super Bowl quarterback on the roster. Number 4, Denver Broncos. Since Peyton Manning's retirement in 2016, the Broncos have gone through approximately 3 million different quarterbacks. Okay, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but the last time the Broncos had one quarterback make all 16 starts, that was back in 2014 with Manning. John Elway has wasted draft picks and a lot of money on unproductive quarterbacks. There was hope that 2019 second-rounder Drew Lock could be the answer after winning 4 of 5 starts in his rookie year, but no. Lock was one of the more inconsistent, mistake-prone passers in 2020. We don't even think Elway should bother giving Lock a 3rd year. You supplied him with countless playmakers on offense and he still couldn't get it done. Just accept that Lock isn't your guy and move on, especially when you have the chance to land somebody like Wentz. Maybe Wentz can make the most of a stacked group of pass catchers that include Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant, plus a strong running back duo in Melvin Gordon and Phillip Lindsay. Denver will have a lot of cap space this offseason, especially if they clear out some of their expensive, underperforming veterans. Elway's job could be on the line if the Broncos continue to struggle, so it wouldn't be surprising if he made a panic move for a guy like Wentz. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers would be better off moving on from the injury-prone and overpaid Jimmy Garoppolo. They can release him in the 2021 offseason and clear out most of the money without taking a significant cap charge. Kyle Shanahan can win with many quarterbacks. And with all due respect to Garoppolo, a healthy Wentz is a considerable upgrade. There are several coaches who can help Wentz regain his top form, and Shanahan is one of them. His skill set would work perfectly in Shanahan's bootleg, run-heavy offense. Not to mention, he'd have a nice set of pass catchers led by all-pro tight end George Kittle and future star wideout Brandon Ayuk. The 49ers are a perfect fit for Wentz here, if they don't mind taking on his hefty contract. He'd be supplemented with a trustworthy head coach, a top-tier offensive line, and several playmaking talents. Wentz could easily help the 49ers return to Super Bowl contention in 2021 and beyond. Number 2, New England Patriots. The Patriots missed the playoffs for the first time since 2008, which isn't surprising given the season-long struggles on offense. Cam Newton wasn't able to carry the offense due in large part to injuries, a stint with COVID, and a lack of productive pass catchers. It's not entirely Newton's fault, but it's hard to imagine Bill Belichick bringing him back in 2021. The Patriots will be loaded with cap space, allowing Belichick to really do whatever he wants. He could eye his next QB in the 2021 draft, but we also wouldn't be stunned if Belichick took a chance on another proven veteran. Why not Wentz? The Patriots can afford to take on that contract, and Belichick could acquire him at a bargain of a price. Offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels could do great things with Wentz. Who's a better fit for his offense compared to Newton? If the Patriots acquire Wentz, that instantly takes them back into title contention with their elite defense and power rushing game. Belichick and McDaniels can easily make it work with him, so why not take the chance? Nobody has a better history with reclamation projects than Bill. He should do it. Number 1, Indianapolis Colts. The head coach, the fit, the offensive line, the playmakers, the available cap space to make a move work. Add it all up, and nobody is a better fit for Wentz than the Indianapolis Colts. A friendly reminder that Colts head coach Frank Reich was the Eagles' offensive coordinator in 2017, when Wentz was playing at an MVP level. If he didn't suffer a season-ending ACL tear, Wentz probably wins the award. Reich helped the Eagles to a Super Bowl 52 championship with backup Nick Foles, and he turned the Colts around in an impressively short amount of time. So yeah, we're pretty sure Reich could help Wentz discover a career renaissance. We wouldn't be surprised if Reich decided to go with the much younger option in Wentz, who has more upside at this position than a 39-year-old Rivers. Make the trade and you have a top-tier QB to build around for the long run. Only the Colts check off every single box as a possible suitor. That's why they're the best landing spot for Wentz. Do you think any of these teams will trade for Carson Wentz? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, we're on everything. Go find us, go subscribe, go follow, go do the whole thing. Subscribe to TPS, we post videos every single day. Every day's a new video. And if you like this video, give it a like. It takes one click down below, and yeah, that really helps us out, so thanks. I'm Jason Biondo, and I will see you guys next time. Nobody's watching right now, so it's fine. I think. Hope not. I don't know. I'm still gonna. Water! I don't need it.
My knee.